Yo, I just want to say, hey, I went on my cruise this past week. Today is Tuesday. I went on my cruise this past week from Sunday up until next Sunday, the 15th to the 22nd. It was good. I spent most of my time reading. I read up on Steve Jobs, and two of the takeaways I came with is one. There's an old Hindu saying that says, in the first 30 years of your life, you develop the habits, and in the last 30 years you live out the habits that you've developed. And the second one was that what was the second one? Oh yeah, it was that Steve Jobs was a perfectionist, and that was basically a weakness of his. It was a reflection of insecurity, as Gary Vee puts it. I took away a lot of concepts that I really felt like Gary Vee, basically that he like lives by. A lot of concepts that he lives by, and like a lot of what he says, it lines up with like what Steve Jobs, well, with what the book would talk about. And so I really do feel like, he said he read 5 books in his entire lifetime, and I think one of those books was that book because it talked about A, B, and C players, and um, him. He always talks about like the people in his company, like how some of them are A players, some of them are B players, some of them are C players. And then aside from that, him talking about perfectionism, um, Steve Jobs talking about perfectionism. I don't think I've ever heard Gary Vee talk about perfectionism. Um, but everything that aligns with marketing, that's what Gary Vee gets into. Like, he's doing marketing right now. That's what he's specializing in. And you could argue that Steve Jobs is basically one of the greatest marketer of all time. Because Steve Wozniak basically created the company. Like, you could just say Steve Jobs outsourced. He outsourced the software and hardware development. When the business was first getting started, to Steve Wozniak. Steve Jobs basically told Steve, uh, he was like, "Hey, like, bro, like, why don't you take these gadgets that you're creating, all this technology that you're creating? Why don't we just monetize off of it?" And so that was like some takeaways I got from the book. There were other things, but it was a big book, and like I'd have to just keep reading over it. But right now, my intuition is telling me to read the book Disrupt You, so I can figure out what industry I want to disrupt and basically become one of the greatest businessmen of all time. Right now, on my job, I'm basically transitioning. Pretty sure I'm going to transition the department I'm working in because I'm working in men's suits, and that shit is ass. I really don't like the guy that I'm working with. He has too much, trying to get too aggressive with me. And little does he know, like, bitch, I'm smart as fuck, and I'm ahead of you. Like, you're a rat. Like, get out of my face. Like, you're a rat. You're a rat in the system. You let the system tell you what to do. That's why you fucking 50 something years old and you've been working at the same company for 15, 20 years. And I see the unhappiness on your face. I can hear it in your tone. And so I guess that just made me a little just like, like I see you, rat. Like I notice you. You don't have to say it louder. Trust me, we heard you the first time. And so I'm just moving away from that because it's a weakness of mine, working in that department and working alongside that type of bad energy. So I'm gonna get away from that. Right now, I'm trying to stay focused, keep the momentum going in what I have, and just staying focused on the momentum that I have, and just seeing like what I could disrupt. Since AI is gonna be probably the most powerful technology in the world, to come. And so right now, I really don't know that much, to even come close to even starting a startup company. Although that's what my intuition is telling me, like startup company is coming soon. um, So we will see. Maybe I'll get into the finance industry like Elon Musk did when he first started. When he started at 24, making his own startup. He started Zipex. Well, he didn't start finance, but he started that company. So we'll see what happens. Um, yeah, but we're still taking the L's daily. And over the summer, I plan on bulking up and just, basically maintaining my health. All the distractions get in the way. All these fucking women complimenting me, and like I don't know, they just appear in my line of sight. Bro, they can smell the testosterone. They can literally smell it. I feel like they can smell the resources, man. And so I'm just trying to stay focused, stay away from women, distractions, get bigger, and just continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and just make enough money, and then take that money home, support my family, and then continue making money, and then basically, help the world one day at a time, but slow at my own pace, Like I think his name was Felix Dennis. He basically said, you know, start small, and so that's where I'm at with that. So yeah,